Sup guys, and welcome to the unofficial dev server patch notes for the 7th of July 2017, graciously provided by Mike10D over on the War Thunder Reddit. Let's break this down. There's some quite interesting stuff today. Firstly, we're going on to ships. For ships, they've added a new control, which is full stop. Basically, this means you can tap a key and your ship will come to as quick a stop as possible. It's just a further control for your ships. This is quite good because the way ship physics work, you have to do everything a bit in advance. So if you see combat start, you can just tap this and you'll just start slowing down naturally. So you can worry about other things. So further controls, a good change. The second thing is they've added torpedo tube dead zones, which means that torpedo tubes cannot fire at desired angles. So basically it's means that they now have realistic torpedo arcs. Instead of just being anywhere on the side, you can kind of punt a torpedo. This is going to be a bigger thing for destroyers and things where it's fixed, whereas on most torpedo boats, basically you can fire anywhere on the side, so just a nice little change. Next we've got a change to Battle Royale, where they have added the ability for second and third place to win. This basically just means that when you're playing Battle Royale, instead of having to be number one, you know, Highlander, there can only be one, you can now be second or third and still be relatively well rewarded. Whereas previously when you played this, if you came second or third, they just told you to suck a dick and go home. So this is a good little change, more reward for people who are doing well at the game. Next we have the World War II mode change, where they've added Sinai as a World War location. Now Sinai is really interesting during World War II, because that whole area of the Middle East was fought with like interwar aircraft. We have like variants like the Vickers Vimy and shit, like roving around, like biplane bombers and shit. So that's going to be quite interesting, because that might hint at more primitive aircraft being added to the game as like BR 1.0s and shit for the British and the Germans and the Italians and also the French. So that'll be quite interesting. Next we have a change to the war bonds system, where the limit of war bonds added, maximum available balance is 7 miscellaneous, which I haven't got a right clue what that means. So we'll see. Further information is required. But the big change, which is why I wanted to make this video as quickly as the more I found out, was this. They've added skins for the following vehicles. The P-43A1. And you'd be like, that I don't recognise that name. What plane is that? And the P-43A1 is basically it was a P-35A, which they pimped the shit out of, and then used as a Lend-Lease aircraft from Republic. If I've got a little picture here from gracious Wikipedia, and as you can see, it's sort of like it just looks bog standard like an American fighter. Using the American Aircraft of World War II book by David Mondy, I will now list its stats so you can get an idea what this beast is like. It is a single-seat fighter bomber with a 1,200 horsepower Pratt & Whitney R1830-57 twin Wasp radial piston engine. And its performance is as follows. Maximum speed is 356 miles per hour, or for you guys who use metric, 573 kilometers an hour at 20,000 feet, or for metric users, 6,095 meters. But that's using WEP. Its general cruising speed is 280 miles an hour, or for you metric guys, 451 kilometers an hour, with a service ceiling of 36,000 feet, or 10,975 meters, and a range of 650 miles, or 1,046 kilometers. It weighs about 6,000 pounds, or 2,720 kilograms empty, but its maximum takeoff weight is 8,480 pounds, or 3,846 kilograms. And it has a wingspan of just under 11 meters, and a height of 4.5 meters. So it's basically it's sort of like a Wildcat, you know, like an F4F or something along those lines. It just looks classic American Republic. Its armament is 450 cal machine guns, 2 in the nose, 2 in the wings, and it can carry up to 120 pounds of bombage, usually in the form of 6 20-pound bombs, which are 9 kilogram bombs for you metric users. So all in all, this thing is, I think they made about 120 of them. Of this specific variant. I think the overall production is about 300, and it was given to the nationalist Chinese. So I think we might have just unearthed the event premium, like the low-tier event premium for aircraft, for the upcoming Summer Madness. Because this aircraft wasn't in the game previously, and it hasn't emerged on the Chinese server yet. So this means that this aircraft is being added to the international server, and I'm assuming it's going to be available for everyone to get a grab at. Because why would you add an aircraft that's American, but give it a Chinese skin, unless you intend to add it to the Chinese server and let it be available to everyone else? The second change is to the Type 69, which is basically, if I recall correctly, the Type 60... the T-54A. Like, the Soviets were like, yo, China, you want to reverse engineer this shit? And they were like, right. So they reverse engineered it, and then the thing they reverse engineered it into, they then reverse engineered it, I think it was the Type 69, they reverse engineered it into this, and then it's basically just a T-54A, but with minor changes to, make it more, make it easy to manufacture in China, if I recall correctly. So they've added 2 skins for 2 variants of it, the Type 69 and the Type 69 2A. It's just another T-54, basically. Not sure about this. There's been word of the Type 69 for a while. It's like the 3rd or 4th time it's been mentioned on the international dev server. So it just seems they're kind of tweaking around with it. The big thing here is the P-43A1, though, because that's a brand new aircraft. Like, there's nothing really comparable to it. You know what I mean? It's just... it's a unique design, whereas the Type 69s are just kind of, they're very, very similar to the Type 54, to such an extent that, you know what I mean? It's one of them things. But for you fans of China, they've added some more vehicles to the game. And for you guys who are fans of American aircraft, the P-43A1 is coming. Moving on to the options changes, they have added new option headers in the language files, option header common battle parameters, option header air, option header tank, option header ship, option header interface. So it's just to make the menu easier to walk through and use. And then there's a few more: measure units, player markers, chat and voice chat, gamepad, replay inspector mode, and other options. And moving on to miscellaneous, they have added some new strings. String hits, artillery, disable warning, last chance to use your artillery, hints, artillery disable, artillery strikes are no longer available, input, raw input, no available, there was an error during the keyboard and mouse initialization, and input, raw input, not available, HDR, which is keyboard and mouse initialization error. So yeah, the big thing with this dev server is they've added a bit more shit for all the game modes and ships, but the major thing is these Chinese vehicles, which seem to be getting closer to actual release. So are you guys hyped for this possible addition of these Chinese vehicles? Like, comment, let me know, do all that good stuff down below, and if the P-40A1 is available in the Summer Madness, will you go for it? Keep on gaming, and have a good one.